Hey, 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 hey! Welcome back to another RSG Lunch Stream. I'm Ranger J 1999, your host and part of the RSG crew. Welcome back to another fun lunch stream. This is where we hang out with you good folks for the next, seems like an hour and a half is where we've been kind of going. And what do we do for the lunch stream? Well, we just bring you something fun to listen to during the workday. Hope everybody's having a good Thursday. It's almost time for the weekend after the holidays and everybody's recovering and things of that nature. So glad to have you here participating and being part of what we got going on. If you have questions, let's just knock out the mechanisms and how it works. If you do have questions, all you need to do is throw those in there. Make sure you put question in front of your statement. It just helps us scoop it up and identify it quicker. And we will get to those after we do our roster reviews. Kind of what we do. We'll do roster reviews. We're doing 2 today, and then we'll get to your questions. So go ahead and get those in there, and we'll get those squared away. Make sure you give us a thumbs up on the video. Stop what you're doing right now. If you haven't already, please give us a thumbs up on the video. It really does help us spread our word and our content out to the YouTube world. And gets us more views, helps with monetization. It's really important. If you haven't subscribed, and what are you waiting for? By subscribing, you get to be able to know when we're live streaming. We do a ton of live streaming, so it really does behoove you if you love the channel to do that. We also have our Patreon. Big shout out to all our Patreon supporters. We really appreciate your support and keeping the channel going and letting us upgrade our stuff like we did last night with the Zoom cameras and everything that we're doing. We've got a lot of cool, fun stuff planned for you guys, and we use all the proceeds we get from that to make the channel better. That being said, let's see what knuckleheads we got in here. I know we've got the Ginger Ninja himself, Mr. Gingivitis, the soulless one, Stanley Red, here today. Stanley, what's going
on? Not too much. I just want to let people know that every Monday going forward, except for on holidays, of course, I'm going to be doing my own live stream.
Oh.
If anybody has a good name for it, let us know in the chat. You know, like Sanely Games or Sanely Streams or Sanely Wildcard Monday or something like that. I don't know.
Soulless Gaming?
Yeah, Soulless Gaming.
Maybe.
Gingivitis and the gameplay it proceeds with. I don't know. I'm just throwing things out there. But Sally's here to monitor chat, and he will be
the gamer Ginger.
Oh,
or the Ginger Gamer.
Oh.
There you go.
GG. Oh. Also, that voice you hear is, of course, the one and only Grim the Mechanic. Grim, how's it going?
It's going.
Yes, it is. So, if you guys didn't check out, we had our Wednesday night stream yesterday. I went haywire. You know, I'm just enjoying reading the forums. People are in Reddit. Reddit is gone nuclear. The forums is really.
Oh, dude! Just when you think CG couldn't do anything worse, you know, CG's like, "I'll hold my beer."
Don't you worry, right there. We got some good. Yeah, we're gonna mess things up real good right in here. You just hold your horses right there. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. We can get it done. It's like, oh boy. So I'm sure there's questions about this. So if you want to ask about, if you have one of our true opinions, go watch the Wednesday night stream. But I'm sure we'll get some questions about this stuff. And I just think it's completely asinine. And I'm watching the dumpster fire take place on the forums and stuff. People are just livid.
Oh, dude, it's even worse on Reddit, man. Reddit is
I started laughing so hard I had to stop because I was like, oh my god. Oh. Oof, they can't control anything on Reddit. They can't. Forums they can. That's why I encourage everybody, if you do want to make a post, the posts on the forums have been, for the most part, you know, constructive and stuff like that. I mean,
good blood. Let the hatred flow through you.
I feel your anger. It makes you stronger. Gives you focus. But yeah. So, I'm sure we'll get questions about that. So, but we'll do some gameplay. There's not a lot going on in the game. So far, I'm 2-0 Grand Arena. Not today. It's setup phase. I'm not really dicking around with setup phase. But tomorrow we will do, like I've done for all the Grand Arena. We'll play the game. You know, Grand Arena for the most part has been pretty good. I don't like the 3v3, but I gotta say it's been pretty cool. some of the stuff they've done in there. Different styles. It's been different Green Arena, so it's been different. I like some of it I don't like. It's cool. But we'll continue down that path of Green Arena. But we'll do that tomorrow. But that being said, let us get into ye old roster reviews. Now today we are doing. We're starting off with Kane's roster review, and let me see what old Kane is. Hold on, someone's messaging me in Discord. Wait a minute, what is this? Goddamn Team Instinct. Got a new bot. Well, poopy. Oh, that's actually pretty cool. All right, so Kane. Kane is in Masters of Chaos. So shout out to your guild, Masters of Chaos for Kane. He knows Kung Fu.
That's a good guild name, man.
That's a good name, Masters of Chaos. Let's see here. All right, I'm working on Chewy and Revan. Should get Chewy. Want to look at hard at mods as I think I suck at them. Well, we'll look at that. Should I switch gears to hard farming ships, and what Zeta should I work on next? I'm pretty good at staying on target, but after I finish up the Chewy and Revan, I'm not sure which direction to go. Thanks. Well, yeah, we can look at that. So let's look at where you are with your Chewy and Revan. Let's see here. So let's go to your Old Republic and see how that's going first. Since you mentioned Revan. Jolie done, Basila done, mission done. Okay, just got T3 and you'll be good to go. So we know we're going to get that old Revan here soon. I don't know how far you are into T3, but very, very, very solid. So you're good there. Let's see how you did on old Chewy Baka. Got it, 7 stars. So you just need the gear, and you're working on the gear. It's gear 9. So yeah, very nice. So we've got that done. So let's see, he says, so those look pretty solid. First thing he really wants to look at is mods. So I just want to see where he was on those two. Looks like you got your Chewy and you're about to get your Revan. So I'm pretty stoked for you, my friend. Let's look at your mods. So I'm just going to do a basic mod search. I'm sure Grim is doing the same right now. Let's filter just by speed secondaries.
Yeah, I'm looking through his mods. He's got some pretty decent mods, but they're spread out across, like, not really.
They really are. Okay, so the thing I'm noticing is stop doing 60 mods. That's the first thing. Now, if you just happen to have the loot and that's the way you did it, then disregard what I just said. We need to start. The best way I would recommend for your mods is we need to start slicing. We've got a lot of speed and secondary mods here, purples and blues. Wow, you got a lot of them.
Yeah, slicing stuff up to just before 60, because 60
we want 5
away from using them on all your characters. I mean, well, yes, 60 is awesome. You don't really need to do it.
Yeah, you're not at that point where you need to be doing 60 mods. Because the other thing too is, as new characters come in, unless they're gear 12, you can't use them. So let's try to see what you do have for mods in your other ones. Let's see what happens when you slice and what you get. So let's look at, like, you just start here with your GG page. It's like, all right, I need to do the triangle on Scion. Let's slice that up next. And then you go to, let's do the diamond on BB-8. And then just start working your way down. And this will also cause you to, as you get those hits on these mods, to remod some of your characters. They are a little bit spread out. I'm seeing some on your arena team, but I'm not seeing a lot on your arena team. Now you're doing okay in arena, but if you want to be truly effective in arena, you need to have your best speed mods on your characters. Then you can
he's got some,
some
D's, some speed secondary D mods that he can slice up that could be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's got a 15D speed mod with an 11 speed secondary that has rolled speed twice.
Yeah.
So, that one could be amazing. He's got another a cross with 10 speed that he has rolled speed twice that he can roll. That's a tenacity primary.
Yeah.
With a speed set. I mean, you got some really nice D mods that you can slice up that could like make your other mods look bad.
Yeah, you've done a great job with farming mods.
There's some
really good mods here, but we've got to get them sliced up. So forget 6E. Put on the back burner for right now. I want to see you hitting these mods. Go to GG and start with these mods here. You can go. I like to use GG instead of filtering through in the game. It's just how I preference it. I just look, okay, what mod next? Okay, I'll go to that mod, and then I'll start working on that mod specifically and take it up to 5A. But there's some really good mods here that have the potential to become really good. What we're looking for is get those mods over 21, and you've got some potential mods here that can really do that, or be near 20 speed. Especially these speed secondary ones. I mean, oof, you could really have a nice speed set and some other sets here that if we can get them sliced.
Oh yeah.
And what it'll allow you to do is, you know, and you want your best mods in your PvP team, which some of them are, but there's some on some other characters. They're good characters, so just something to think about. Maybe you may need to remod some of your tunes because you want your best mods always on your PvP, which a lot of them are, but some of them are not, you know. So something you may want to consider. But let's start with this one on Scion and just work our way down. Do the one on BB-8, do the one on Zombie, do the one on Ray, and just start working your way down. Once you get a good sense of all the 5As with the speeds you have, then you could take those and put those on your PvP team. And then if you want to take those to 6E, because it is on your PvP team, as long as they're geared 12, that's fine. Then you start thinking about that. So I don't have a lot of 6E mods. And the reason I do have 6E mods is because I just happen to get the loot, and it's like, well, I might as well take one up. And I've done it specifically on characters like Thrawn. You know, Thrawn for capital ship, he's my fastest tune, you know, that kind of thing. It just made sense to get the most bang for the buck for the mods there. But that's the only time I've done it. I've not actually farmed any kind of mod stuff for 6E, you know, like you can out of the guild store. So something that I really would like you to focus in on. Your issue is not that you don't have good mods. You've done a fantastic job of farming mods.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is we need to start slicing the snot out of these damn things. And that's the biggest thing I see, because there are so many potentially good mods here. And we went through this with Tits the other day. She had so many mods that she, you know, had not touched that had good speed on them. And when we sliced them, she got like a 26 one, I think, or a 23 one from doing it. It's like, see? You know, it's like, especially those ones that are blue that you've already gotten 3 hits on the speed. You know, these blue ones have the potential to really, really become really good. So, you know, just to work your way down, and, you know, this speed, 17 speed's already been hit 4 times. I mean, these are the mods you really want to, I'm telling you, buddy, these are the ones you want to slice, and let's get these up so we have a better sense of overall where your best mods are at, because you have potential to have some really great mods in here, and by slicing these just to 5, where you can use them everywhere, it allows you to really move the pieces around the board on your mods and set your PvP team up. Whether you eventually do go to Revan or stay with Treya or you go to CLS, it doesn't matter. It just, you want to get those, what I call your 30 best mods that you're going to use for those 5 characters for PvP, you know, and you just work your way down from there. And I think that'll really help you out. So let's begin the slicing process. That's what I think you need to be doing. You don't need to farm any more mods, because my God, do you have a nice, a lot of nice mods here that I think when you're in your first page and you're still on 10 speed, that is a good sign. So really,
yeah,
that's
I'm
a
looking
great sign.
through some of his other mods that don't have speed secondaries on them, and he's got some mods that he can slice up as well, that for other characters that are amazing. Like, he's got a protection primary crit damage triangle that he hasn't leveled up all the way yet, but it has plus 89 offense on it and a percentage offense on it as well. That is an amazing triangle that you can slice up. And if it keeps on hitting offense, I'll be jealous.
Absolutely.
And Grande will be jealous. Finn will be jealous.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I'm sorry, I just saw someone's name in here. Can't touch this.
yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. Can't touch this. Sorry, I had a little bit of a.
I like when people are creative with their usernames.
Oh my god. All right. What else did he want? He had a few other things he wanted us to look at. Let me go back here in Discord. Should I switch gears to hard farming ships? And which data should I farm on next? Well, let's look at your roster first. Let's go back to your roster because I don't think you're in a position really maybe to be hard known ships yet. Let's just go through your teams and see what you have. I'm just going to go real quick. Bounty Hunters, obviously, are going to be pretty solid because you got Chewbacca. Yeah, they're pretty solid. So you have a choice here that you can do. Now, I have one ship, one node you can do that's got a ship is Jango Fett. I like it because it gives you Houndstooth and Jango Fett. Not a bad node. So if you want to start there's one you can do. I've got that as my farm. I just want to look at your overall roster here. First Order, solid. Need gear, but it's still solid. It's gear 10. Don't need to worry about Ewoks. I mean, you could, but I mean, Chewie. Troopers, very solid. Dead Trooper, you need to get to 11. I figured that a lot of things you need to be working on is gear. But you're going to get gear through a lot of the raids and stuff like that. So, with the Guild Event Store, the Shard Shop, there's just lots of places to get gear. It's not really that much of a big deal for you. Jedi.
Yeah, the only real ships I see that he could
solid.
possibly use would be Poe,
Yeah, that's not
Poe
hard to
and
farm.
Lando's Falcon. Because luckily Lando's Falcon is a double node, so you get Lando's Falcon and Lando.
I'm farming Lando right now too.
It's a good use of your resources.
I really think
Not to mention the ship's amazing.
Let's look at his scoundrels because I'm looking at. I think his other teams are fine. So scoundrel team with Kira could be a way to go. You've got a 6-star Kira. I'm just looking. Emphys is one you could farm. She's a hard node you need to finish up. I mean, you could go for the scoundrels. Vandor, young Han, young Lando. I mean, Lando gives you ships. We already mentioned Jango Fett with Houndstooth gives you ships. So that could be a way for you to go right there. If you want to work on a team that you're not currently, that you're asking what you can go on next, the Kira Stall out team with Zalbar and all that stuff. You've already got Zalbar 7 stars. That's a great one to use.
Yeah. Farming up L337. She's
Cantina.
by far. I think she's one of the best tanks in the game.
Yeah.
And she's a scoundrel. So scoundrel and a smuggler.
Yeah. I mean, it could be a team that I seriously think that you could go for. And I think you'd be good with that because that's a really good solid team for you. I think that it would really you get a lot of bang for your buck for that team. It's a great defensive team in territory wars, so that may be a team you want to go for. Everything else looks really solid that you've done. I mean, some of it needs gear, but it's not a farm issue for you. It's just gear. You want to take certain characters to gear, but it's not that you don't have them. Scoundrels might be the one team that you need to farm. For ships, Lando is a good one. I do Emphys first, then I'd go to Lando for ship energy. Emphys is such a ridiculously good tune. If you didn't see me 2 days ago, was it yesterday that I did Grand Arena or see yesterday Wednesday?
Yeah, when you did
I just
Emphys
versus Phoenix and just one shot. She's so ridiculous, and so many different teams. She is so good. It's not even funny. Rogue One's fine, just need gear. Yeah, a lot of your teams just gear, so that's what I would recommend. I would go add Lando to your farm, L3 to your farm. You could go those characters with Jango Fett as part of your farm, and then start finishing off some of these other scoundrels. I mean, look at your roster. That's if you were looking for another solid team to go for, the scoundrel team is really good. You can work on your other bounty hunters like Aura Singh and things of that nature. Throw that in there. I'll show what I'm farming to give you a better idea.
Another scoundrel that he might want to look into if he's up for it would be Vandor Chewy.
Yeah, that Vandor Chewy.
I think people they underestimate the power of that tune right there. He is so annoying because he keeps on I've teamed him up. Yeah, I have him Zeta'd, soon to be Gear 12, and I teamed him up with L337, and like he keeps on resurrecting her when she dies.
So ignore the first two; those are just gear. I'm working on Talia to finish up my Night Sisters. I forgot I needed to work on Talia, so I'm like, oh crap. But I'm farming Young Han, Django. These are and I'm finishing up Super Commando first. I need only 11 shards, so I'm like, I just finishing up just to round off his ship. I'm not putting gear on him. I'm not doing anything. He's like Gear 7. I'm not going to touch him after that, but he's right there as Gear 7, so I'm going to do him. Then I'm going to work on L3. Now the hard node farms that I'm doing is Django, Embo, Range Trooper, Vandor Chewy, and I only use like 150 energy refresh at most a day. And Young Lando is is what I'm using my ship energy on. You know, Orsing will be in the mix once I finish L3 because she's a Cantina, but I just have her up there as a favorite because this is what I'm working on. These are characters to run off my teams even better. Talia, I've got nice Acolyte, but looking at the raids, I just like Talia a little bit more. So I'm like, you know what, I'm going to finish her to 12 before I go finish Acolyte. Pro Droid just because.
What'd you say your spirit was at?
I mean,
Nice
touching my
spirit.
I'm not even looking at spirit. What is she at? Christ, I've got a lot of her shards because I just from the event and stuff. Let's look at it real quick.
She's another unsung hero of the Night Sisters.
She's 79 out of 85. I mean, I could go and.
Personally, I like Spirit more than Acolyte.
Yeah.
She's just so strong.
I mean, I could farm. You know what? I'll add her to the favorites just so you guys. But that gives you an idea, Kane, of like how you could progress into those characters that I just showed you. You could do the same thing and work on them. So you're working on a secondary bounty hunter team. You're working on finish up your scoundrel team with Kira. You know, those gives you some ideas. And then with Django, you're getting the Houndstooth, which is a really key ship that you could add to your lineup. Lando's ship is really good, but you need L3 and Lando. So, but you already farmed them because they're a great team anyway. So it's the kind of things that you can kind of go for your farming. And then what else did he ask for? What Zeta should I work on next? Okay, let's look at his Zetas. Let's see here. Zetas. What do we got? JTR 3, Saj 2, Treya, Palpatine, Thrawn, a lot of good Zetas here. Emphas.
Yeah. Oh, he's Zeta Fallen Bastila.
Very nice.
I'll need to talk to him about that one because I've been tempted to Zeta her as well.
I've thought about it, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not using her. Yeah, I'm not using her. I will use her eventually. I will farm her. Now, my plan is when those other characters from the Old Republic become free to play, I'm dropping everything. I'm going to go get this. I will not be caught with my pants down again, Grim. Goddamn it.
For Jedi Knight Malik?
I don't care what it is. I'm going to have everything I need for Darth Revan.
I know the feeling, dude.
And I'm saving crystals.
Do the same thing. I'm going to drop everything I'm doing and start farming those once they become free to play.
Did I see one on seal list? Okay, he's got it. Binds all things good. Grandmaster Yoda. Didn't see Hermit Yoda. Hermit Yoda might be one you might want to consider. He's got the key ones. Kylo Ren on Mass.
The second one on Kylo.
Kylo Ren on Mass. Second one. Wow, you did IG-88. Interesting. It's not a bad Zeta. It's not great, but it's not bad. General Veers. Scion. You don't have Nihilus done, but you don't really need it. Don't have Palpatine. I don't see Palpatine in here. Oh, you do. Never mind. I'm retarded.
Yeah, he's got both on Palp.
And Treya good. You got one on Bastila. Chewbacca low friend. I kind of like both on Chewbacca. The other ones you might want to consider is 3PO, maybe some. I really like 3PO. He's so good. It's so ridiculous. Got one on Grandmaster Yoda. So that's good. First order might be some that you do. I mean, if you're going to go first order, you will need Kira Zeta if you're going to go Kira. That's one to consider. Maybe.
Actually, you don't need her.
No, you
Zeta.
don't need it. Okay, I thought you did. Okay.
Yeah, it's
never mind.
one of those ones where you can live without it.
So you have a couple of ways you can go here. I'd put the one on Hermit Yoda. Kylo Ren and Mask you definitely want is the other one. It's an autoton. If you want to work on eventually on First Order, you need the second one on Kylo Ren. My other recommendation is First Order Stormtrooper and the original OG Kylo Ren. That's just around at your First Order team if you're looking for Zetas. Hermit Yoda is one that I would recommend. You have Zeta Finn.
Yeah, he's got most of the good ones already.
Yeah,
Zeta.
you've done a great job with your Zetas. There's no, oops, I crapped my pants Zeta. You got Bosk. Yeah, so it's really just a matter of rounding out some stuff. It's really what you want to do. You've got Talzin, you got Asajj. The Night Sisters are fine. Wampa's fine. Really, it's just rounding out some teams. So you can either go like finishing up like the Jedi with Hermit Yoda, do one there. You could round out First Order if you want to go there. Save maybe for any of the Zetas that you need for your Kiristal team. Wasn't it Zalbar or Mission you needed the Zeta for that team? I'm just going blank on Zetas because I'm looking at
which one?
For Zalbar and Mission. Do they need any of their Zetas?
It's not required,
Not
but
required, but I think it makes them better.
but
right?
it makes them better, yeah. Because Zalbar's, I think. Let's see here. I think Zalbar's is the one where Mission starts healing herself, and then Missions is she attacks when Zalbar does stuff. I mean,
protection recovery for Zalbar, and then assist on attack.
Listen, Finn, you don't just come in here and just start speaking. Yeah. You got to say hi and stuff. You have to be social.
I've been here since the beginning.
What do you mean?
I was here like 5 minutes before the stream started. You just never introduced me, so I've been talking.
Get the hell out of here! I even mentioned you. Say I guess Finn's in a meeting and blah blah blah. You didn't say.
I was in here the entire time, and I've been talking with people in the chat.
You are such a douche. You know what, Finn? You're doing the rest of this. I'm so angry at you right now.
But yeah, like for Mission and Zalbar,
I didn't want to interrupt.
Such a butthole.
Well, that's Finn. But yeah, the Mission and Zalbar Zetas, they're good Zetas, but they're not required for them to be good.
Yeah, only Vandor is for that team.
Oh, Vandor's Zeta is amazing.
All right, so that's Zetas, and then I think that's it for what he wanted. But yeah, you can get some ships out of those two farms too. So you'll get Lando's and Bosk's Houndstooth. That's a good start, and then just keep getting those other ships. Like he mentioned, Poe and stuff. So keep your ship farm going as well. I mean, for the most part, your ships look pretty solid. Let's keep working on Houndstooth. Finish up your Boba Fett, and then
you switch back to your gameplay. I don't know if you intended to do that.
Oh, sorry. Let me I forget that the windows and stuff. Yeah. Poe, definitely need to finish up Poe. That's one I would do. But other than that, I mean, really good. I mean, you got some ships here you can keep farming out of the store. Poe, Rex are two that you can keep getting out of the stores. And then round out, Slave 1 as well. But then, like, Houndstooth and Landia you'll get from your normal farm. And then just kind of work on those ships right now. That's where you really need to be at. Your other ships look really fine. I don't have a problem with those ships that you got. They're really good. Done a good job with your ship so far. I like you.
He has chosen wisely.
He has chosen wisely. Pretty good job. The fact that you got Poe unlocked and you're working on it is fine because Finn won't have an aneurysm. God help us.
That's right.
All right, but think about the Kiristal team. Think about those characters that you saw me farming. I think that'd be a great way for you to go, and then start rounding out your characters and other teams that just need gear, like some of your Stormtroopers, like Shore Trooper and Death Trooper, things that we kind of caught, and then on your mods, slice. That's what you need to be working on right now. It's just slicing.
Yeah, don't worry about 6E. You don't need them. You don't need them yet.
No. But overall, really good job, Kane. You've done it the right way. Yeah, you're going to get your Revan. You've got your Chewbacca. You're definitely on the path, my friend. Great job on this roster. Just need you're in that roundup stage. Let's start rounding up your characters. Let's get some more squads. Give you some more diversity in your squads. Let's get some of those characters rounded up to Gear 11 at least. Just Gear 11. That's even for ships. Characters for ships, Gear 11's where it's at. And then keep progressing. Just rounding out your teams, getting those Zetas done, and get these other teams. You'll be fine. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
All right. And if you have questions, of course, all you need to do is hit us up in Discord. All right, next.
And if we missed anything, blame Finn.
He's a douche. All right, next one is Shaka profile, and they are in the Alliance Omicron.
Are you sure it's not Chicago?
Shaka. No, it's Shaka.
Shaka when the walls fell.
No, it's Shaka. And what does Shaka want? Really want to focus on Galactic or Grand Arena. Want a good Scoundrels team. Just started caring about ships. Need advice. Well, Finn, since you don't want to participate, hey, what do you think there, homie?
All right, so in
Really good
looking
roster.
at his roster, if we're okay, so Grand Arena, we don't know how often it's going to be coming, right? So in January, there's only one Grand Arena. There's 2 territory wars, 1 territory battle. So we don't know kind of what is going to happen with Grand Arena. So I'm going to focus this more in general, not necessarily Grand Arena, because Grand Arena does have a 3v3 component to it, but also we're looking at territory wars. So you're just trying to look for the best team compositions with the roster that you have. And having a good Scoundrel team is a good idea. So let's start with Scoundrel, since you brought that up.
He's pretty damn good.
He's got some nice Scoundrels.
Wait a minute, we
So
need to finish Memphis here. 4 stars. You get your ass in gear. No, I'm just joking.
So you have a Gear 12 Kira, a Gear 12 Vandor Chewie. So that's kind of the foundation of the team.
Zalbar.
Then the other one is Zalbar, which you have a Gear 12. So that's like your first 3 characters that you
No. If you're running Kira and Vandor, you use L337, which he has Gear 12.
Well, you can run Zalbar mission with it.
You run Zalbar with it.
You can, but it takes away from.
I'm not focusing on 3v3.
Yeah, we know.
No, you don't. This is works better for the.
So who would you put on a team with Kira, Vandor, L3? Who would be your other 2?
Kira Vandor L3, he can get away with putting young Lando on there, because young Lando is a real good character.
You're gonna have him work
I've
on
used
young
him
Lando?
a lot. He's got a Gear 11 6-star, dude.
Young Lando? His young Lando is Gear 8. What roster are you looking at?
I'm looking at Shaka's.
Shaka has a Gear 8 young Lando.
What are you talking about? You were looking at the wrong one, Finn.
I'm looking at Shaka from Alliance Omicron.
No, you're not.
No, you're not, because I'm looking at young Lando. His young Lando is Gear 11.
Oh, there it is. Okay. No, I'm looking at young Han and saying Lando. I'm like getting all confused here. I wouldn't work on young Lando either.
Well, that's all the insight we have for Finn, who doesn't know where he's at or what's happening. Or...
Yeah, I was looking at young Han, not young Lando. Okay, so you use young Lando and what other character?
From what he's got, I'd use young Lando. And let's see here. You can get away with using... Wow. The choices. He can't use that one, can't use that one.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I disagree, but that's fine. We'll go with.
No, you can give both options. What do you want to play? Let's give.
Mine is simple: Kira, Vandor, Chewie, L3, Zalbar, Enfys Nest. That's your team until you work on mission. I don't know why you're.
That's a good one, but more than likely, emphasis going on another team. For territory war.
Well, for Grand Arena, she's just a solid. You just put her against their weak. If they put something weak sauce, it's like, Enfys, go in there and do what you do. Just go in there and kill.
I would put emphasis on Kira if you're looking for a defense team. If you're saving it for offense, that's fine.
Yeah, you could do that. Yeah,
I would not put young.
That's a good thing about Scoundrels and why they're so good is there's so many different possibilities that you can do.
The reason why I'm saying put Zalbar on a different team is because he detracts the attention away from L337. L337, her main thing is she gets big and burly every time she uses her basic. So you want that people to be attacking her so she's constantly countering. Because once you get her at her Mark 3, she has 100% counter chance. And whenever she hits with basic, she gains more max hit points. And then when she uses her taunt, she heals all the scoundrels on your team for an amount based on her max hit points. With Zalbar on that team, you are making her less effective. Just saying.
So, okay, Finn, you give your team.
I already gave mine.
Okay.
Kira, Vandor, L3, Zalbar, Enfys.
Okay. And
that would be the one that I go with until you finish your mission.
Okay. And then you would place mission with Enfys. Now, his mission is 7 stars.
Yeah, his mission isn't ready yet. Mission's only gear 8.
Right, but if we can get a gear 11, then that's definitely going on the team. Now, that's one way. Grim, what is yours?
Personally, I do, with his setup currently, I do Kira, Vandor, L337. You can get away with doing young Lando because he is a really good character. I mean, the AI knows how to use him correctly. You could get away with, I wouldn't put young Han on there because the AI doesn't know how to use him.
It's a bad choice.
He's got a 7-star gear 9 veteran Han Solo, which is, he's actually a good character. Even people say he isn't. His double tap stagger is very nice. As for the second scoundrel team, I do a little mix up here with this one.
Well, what was your main one? It was Kira Lee with who?
Kira, L337, Vandor, Chewie, young Lando, and possibly veteran Sailor Han.
Okay. And
you can play with using different stuff because you can. Kira's speed affects scoundrels in general, so if you want to bounty hunters on them, you can. Nudge. But for like a second team, Jango Fett lead, Mission Zalbar, because Jango will give Mission and Zalbar plus 30 speed, and Mission's really fast already, so she'll be attacking all the time, putting DOTs and stealth.
You're kind of going robot on breaking up a little bit, Graham.
Oh, sorry. Hold on.
Is that better? Were you hearing that too, Finn? Insanely. Say something, Grim?
Yeah. It's breaking in and out.
Yeah.
Okay. Say something now, Grim.
Is that any better?
Yes, that's better.
Weird. Okay, for the second team, he could get away with Jango Fett lead.
Again.
Ah, damn it.
Minutes later.
Is that better?
Keep talking for a second.
Is that much better? Any better?
Yes.
Testing.
There you go.
Okay. Hopefully it doesn't do it again. Second team, he could get away with a Jango Fett lead because Jango Fett gives plus 30 speed to any and all scoundrels. But you could put Zalbar and Mission on, which the plus 30 speed benefits Mission and Zalbar a lot. And then you could fill out the rest on that one with whatever you think would work better. It's all different than most people would think, but you know, speed can mean a whole lot for those two characters.
Okay, so you have some different.
You can also put Nest on there and make it even more annoying. A plus 30 speed, it's insanely fast Nest. Ugh.
Yeah, Nest is something you need to farm up, my friend. She's a priority. But really nice roster.
Yeah, it is a really nice roster.
All right, so that's some ideas for your scoundrel team for Grand Arena. If you want more details into it, I mean, you've gotten some eyes on different setups and teams there from Finn and from Grim that you could kind of look at. So, see what you think. See what you might want to run. You can get with us in Discord specifically about that, and we can square you away on that. The other thing he said was ships. He's just getting into ships, so I want to kind of look at his ships and see what's going on. Well, someone who's just really getting into ships, you got some nice ships there, homie.
Oh, damn.
Damn. Houndstooth's 6 stars. Lando's is done. Silencer's done. All right. Okay. I see. So Cassian's Ewing definitely want to work. That's a great ship. That ship is a lifesaver in a lot of different fleets because, especially when you get his reinforcement done, he's nasty. Let me just wipe out everybody's buffs and then even the playing field and.
Finn. I'm not seeing Poe.
Oh my god. Finn,
why'd you have to go there?
There's no Poe, Finn.
He said he just started caring about ships. So you can just start caring about Poe now.
Take a breath, Finn. Take a breath. Take a breath.
Finn's like, "Where's the beefy Poe?"
We need a beefy Poe.
Maybe snort. Let's see here. You got to finish your tie advance. One of your better ships. Maybe work on Ghost of Phantom. Definitely finish Cassie's Ewing. See, he does not have Chimera, so let's focus on what he needs for Chimera. Need Ghost, Phantom. I'd say
Rebels. He needs Rebels.
Rebels.
They changed it now. He needs Rebels.
Rebels. He's got Wedge.
Let's not talk about it. He just needs
Rebels. Yeah, Ghost and Phantom are really good ships, so if you want to work on those, that's totally fine. So let's get our Ghost and our Phantom done. Let's round up our tie advance. Let's finish that one up.
And his TIE Reaper.
And let's start farming Poe. Poe is one of the best ships in the game. That sucker comes in is like, all right, I would like to kill you.
Yeah, I'd also recommend him working on, like, even a lot of people probably wouldn't like this one, but the ETA 2. And he has it unlocked, and it is
a great ship. Are you kidding me?
Viable at 3-star. Once you get him maxed out at his star level and get Anakin up, that ship is one of the key to the Mace time team.
Yeah, I've used this has happened both Grand Arenas. I've been using the Republic fleet. I've left Houndstooth on there, right, on the starting lineup with I think 5s and Rex. And one of the reinforcements has been Anakin's ETA. I have not lost ships yet in Grand Arena with that lineup. And mine's only 3-star. Now my Anakin's almost gear 12 and stuff. But good lord. Houndstooth is sick with that team. And so is Anakin's ship. It's a really good lineup. Because what Anakin comes in, especially once you get him higher level and stuff, is... You know, he comes in, he does his, it's just nasty. He is that hard-hitting piece that you need. And then with Houndstooth in there, with all the health and protection being brought back, it makes Houndstooth a nightmare. You know, you have to use a Chimera just to get Houndstooth and some of those ships off the board. So it's really, really disgusting.
Yeah, and then Anakin's ship with the, and you get Valor, you get Valor, and you get Valor. Makes Mace's ship just keep on going and going and going.
All right, so we got some ships you can work on there. Definitely round out your. Well, let's look at your. What are you using fleet right now? Not a problem in Arena. Yeah, he's using Home 1 with Houndstooth, Silencer, and Biggs, which is fine. He doesn't have Chimera.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to say, how close is he to getting Chimera? I mean, he's got 7-star in all the capital ships, so probably not that far away.
Yeah, I think he's just right around the corner. Once you get Chimera into your lineup, I think it'll be a big help. Even at 5 stars, if that's all you can get, that's still a really, really good. It's one of the best ships in the game. So, but he's got his Reventine rocking and rolling, so no problems there. But yeah, work on those ships. I think those will really help round out your fleet and help your fleet. Let's work on getting Ghost and Phantom done. Let's finish up your Cassian Ewing. That'll help you with getting, another Rebel ship, and he is a really great ship to have. Work on Poe, and I think the ships that we recommend will help you out tremendously. Shakaka. What a great name. The Alliance.
Or maybe it's Shaka Khan.
Shaka Khan, Shaka Khan, Shaka Khan, Shaka Khan, Shaka Khan. All right. And if you have any more questions, Shaka Khan, then all you need to do is send us a message in a Discord, and we will be more glad to help you out. Now, if you would like a roster review, all you need to do is what, Finn?
No. I should unmute. Yeah. Just message me on the Discord. That's Finity on the RSG Discord. The link is in the description below. Just message me, send me your GG page, tell me you want to be in the queue, make sure that I reply to you, that you are in the queue, and you are good to go.
All right. And make sure he responds.
That's right.
All right.
This is a nice roster, Shaka. Really is.
I like it. like it. You're on the both you guys are doing a great job. So keep it up. Alrighty then, back into what we like to call questions and answers. You guys have been posing questions and we've got responses. So let's do this.
LNX question: all the chocolate Vaseline isn't helping. With yesterday's announcement for the CG devs, can I get the Revendol so I can show someone where the devs expletive deleted me?
Helenix.
Well, now we know why they gave us all those cool events right before New Year.
No, that doesn't have nothing to do with it. Sorry, it's just, oh my god.
I think the new stuff isn't good, but that being said, everyone can relax a little bit. It's only for 1, maybe 2 territory wars this month. If the feedback is negative, then they probably won't bring this out again. So
I'm hoping that they don't.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Minds.
So just wait and see what happens before over vacillating your yourself.
No, I have.
That's the thing, though. For the people that don't like this game mode, please make your voice heard, because judging by their latest thing of they need the feedback. If you guys don't like it, voice your opinion. That way it doesn't become a permanent part to TW, please. Because if we like it and people don't voice opinions about it, it'll become a permanent part.
Yeah. Make your voice heard. It's pretty much all you can do. All right. Next question.
Tangent Revolution question: what is the Zeta order on Night Sisters? I know you want 4, but which order would you put them in if you only have a couple and a mother lead?
Mother.
Yeah, definitely double mothers.
Well, I mean,
if mother is your lead,
I went Asajj lead, then I went Towson unique, then I finished Asajj's last one, and then I did mother lead as the 4 in that order. That's how I did it. Now, you could do both on Asajj and then do mother's unique. If you already had, I mean, which one did he already have? Already said mother lead already?
Yeah, he's already got mother lead.
So you could probably, boy, oh boy, oh boy. You know, you could, what do you guys think about this? He could do mother's unique because you want plague bearer, and then go lead for Asajj. So he has 2 leads done. He doesn't have his unique done on Asajj, but he does have the leader on there, so that gives him another leader.
I will agree with you on this one.
I think that would be the way to go for you, buddy.
I'm going to skip ahead for this one. Mike Brook, question for Ranger. My 9-year-old daughter, Janelle, is watching with me. Can you say hi to her in your sexy, powerful palp voice? I feel the dark side in her. She's your #1 fan. Thanks.
Oh wow. Of course.
Oh, nice.
She's 9 years old, and what was her name again?
Janelle.
Janelle, this is Emperor Palpatine. I feel the dark side of the Force strong in you. Now, look at your father and try to force choke him. And say, I am the master of the dark side. Thank you for being a fan. We love you. In a dark side way, not a light side way. There you go, Janelle. Thank you for being a fan, Janelle. We appreciate you.
I could just see a little kid doing the whole unlimited power scene to her dad.
Use your Force lightning. Get the Xbox you always wanted.
Ski Trooper, question: who gets the Mark 12 thermal detonator? Crew, JTR, Jolie, or Zombie? It is the piece that gives plus 100 strength and plus 110 physical damage, not the 6,000 health.
I would give that to JTR first.
Yeah, I was going to say JTR, an extra plus 6 speed to JTR.
Star Rocks 923 Lego, question: have you voted yet? If not, try to sabotage everything but Treya and Revan to make this a total nightmare. Vote out Thrawn, Vader, GK, Palp brackets. Affinity came up with this plan.
I voted
What?
for Harambe.
I'm not voting. I'm not participating. I think it's asinine. So
Yeah. Eliminate Thrawn, eliminate BB-8, and then see what happens with the Revan walls. Make sure Revan is there. You can vote for Revan and Grandmaster Yoda and Jolie. Eliminate Thrawn, eliminate BB-8, and then the devs may eliminate Enfys Nest, and then have fun with the Revan walls, which is what everyone's
may eliminate Enfys. They are gonna eliminate.
Well,
Enfys.
let's see. They have to vote on one of them, and that one has Han Solo and Enfys. So yeah, let's see what happens.
That'll be fun. Mike Brooks has a question. Thanks, Ranger. She's trying to choke me. Excellent. Try harder. He's still breathing. He's typing.
That's so awesome.
That is great.
Doyson, question, aren't people overreacting about the territory war changes will breathe new life into the game mode? Is the problem with preventing tunes from use or just the number of tunes being restricted?
So here's the interesting thing. So I've been trying to, if you guys watched yesterday, I'm not a fan of this change. And my opposition is because they're eliminating characters. But here's the thing. I like hearing both sides of the argument. And there's some people that really like this change. So when I was talking to them, I talked to some this morning, I talked to some last night. What is it that they like about this change? And what they said was that territory war had gotten kind of stale for them, which I can understand to some extent, especially if you go into the higher levels, where it's basically a Revan wall, and then you're trying to break down the Revan wall, and it's like the same teams on defense, and then there's so really no variation in the defenses. And to some extent, I can understand that. You don't want a game mode that's necessarily boring. So what they wanted in an ends, so it's kind of a means and an ends thing. So the ends that they wanted is that there is a change in how territory wars is conducted, because that way you have more you have more variety, right? People do want to test their entire roster. And so I don't think there's some people that believe territory wars is fine the way it is. And so you'll have that group of people that's happy. I think a larger proportion of people are probably of the mindset that they like territory wars, but they feel like it could use maybe a little bit of a change because you're seeing too much of the same stuff on defense and it's not really that variant. Right. So if you go down that as the ends that you're trying to kind of change, I think what happened is the means that they're going about in order to reach that is a poor solution. And it is because you are eliminating characters. Now, some people were saying, well, if they eliminated only 10 characters instead of potentially 28 characters, which is what it looks like with players eliminating 16 and devs potentially eliminating 12, right? They were saying that if this was down to maybe 10, that it would be a little bit better. And maybe it would be. I think it would still be the same thing, that you're eliminating characters. These are also very high characters that people are working on. So the lower geared people, like the newer players, are probably, if they follow any kind of, if they follow like YouTube or anything like that, have worked on Phoenix first in order to get Emperor Palpatine and Thrawn. Hera's on the list, Palpatine's on the list, Thrawn is on the list. So you can potentially eliminate a lot of their squads. Vader is on that squad as well. So you're probably building a Sith or an Empire team around that, right? Then you're going to be working towards R2. R2 works for CLS. CLS is on that list. I mean, you kind of end up with this chain of where you have newer players having their characters eliminated. And so I think there are better solutions to the problem that I think a lot of players have expressed, which is that territory wars was getting stale for them. This is not the right solution. I think they need to find a different solution to go about it. And eliminating characters that people want to play with is not a smart way of doing it. Now, if the complaint is that Revan is causing a kind of a break in territory wars, I can understand that. Revan is kind of the definition of power creep in this game. He is the combination of 13 different abilities, right? And so he is the definition of power creep. And so he becomes a very powerful character that becomes very hard to eliminate. If you then eliminate his counters by allowing people to vote for it, you'll see that the whole process kind of gets thrown on its head, and you're actually going to make it worse. What you could do is exactly like they did with the Mace and the Grievous and that kind of stuff, which is providing a buff if you want to make a difference. potentially going back to something they did before. And I know we were, if you guys were in the RSG Discord, Team Money was just mentioning it too. There wasn't a good response to it the first time, which was increasing the number of defenses that you put on in territory wars. But the problem with that was that they scaled it incorrectly, and people were putting way too much on defense. It wasn't reasonable for the galactic powers. And so they could always scale that back and put it in a better system in order to allow for more differentiation. You could also potentially make it so that different zones get different benefits. So, for example, the front zone could get a benefit to people that are using Sith on offense, right? So you may not want to put your Revan on the front line if the Sith and the Empire in that get a speed bonus or something like that. Potentially in the back line, Jedi defensive could get a bonus. I mean, you could add bonuses in each territory to one particular team on defense, and also give an offensive bonus to the people attacking. That would also change it. So now you have to strategize with regards to that. I mean, there are different ways you can go about making territory wars more fun. Eliminating characters is not the right way to go about it. So I think that's what they need to end up reviewing. Why are they eliminating characters? Is it because the characters are OP? Well, you introduced the power creep. So now you have to find a way to deal with it. How do you make, if the problem is Revan, how do you make it so Revan isn't front-walled for entire guilds and then makes it a frustration? Well, you find a way to incentivize the counters in the front so Revan isn't in the front. You find a way to incentivize particular characters to be a counter, just like you did Mace Windu, who ended up also being on defense, kind of a nasty thing. And then also Dooku also worked. I mean, there are different ways that you can go about it. Eliminating characters, I don't believe, is the right means for the ends. And I think a lot of people, it depends on what camp you are. There are some people that didn't think territory war needs to be changed, and I would actually say probably that's one of the smaller percentages.
I think you got that wrong, Finn. There's
yeah.
I don't think a lot of people
I've got
they don't like territory wars, but I think they're getting frustrated with the same things on defense over and over.
It's not, and I'm gonna push back on that as well. That's not. Listen, territory wars. If you want to change things up, I'd like some of your ideas, Finn, but it's not because it's getting stale. Because territory wars is more than just, you know, the walls and stuff. I mean, the point, it's not, this isn't about territory wars per se. This is much more than that. How you feel about territory wars, one or the other. But when you take something, I don't care if they do this in any gameplay, I would be still livid, because, you know, we've already talked about the platoons and territory battles. Hey, work hard on this tune for months and get it modded, and then have to put in platoons.
Whoops, we accidentally put, you know, C-3PO in platoons.
You know, I mean,
you know, the day that you got them.
No, you just unlocked them, but you need 10 of them. So good
luck
with that. But, you know, this is a collections game. Period. People work hard. They spend money in this game. There's two reasons why this is absolutely ridiculously stupid. One, you have people that spent money on a lot of these tunes that now will not be able to use them. The other one, you have people that are free to play that have spent months farming this crap and getting it up. They can no longer use tunes. It's not so much a high-end thing. Like, for people that are at high-end, they've got big enough rosters where it's kind of like, it's just, it pisses them off, that especially if they spent money like with Revan and stuff, that they can't use possibly Revan. But this is going to cripple the hell out of people that are mid-tier or lower tier, because they've worked on specific tunes and squads, and then all you have to do is have one that is taken off the board, and they don't have the roster to do, you know, I mean, I don't understand CG's thinking on this. I mean, they've really got their head up their ass on this, and there's no way to go about it. And if you think this is a fun thing to change things up, I don't know what to tell you. Do you like chewing glass? I mean, good God, it's ridiculous.
That's part of the reason why, and I said this, and this is the way I voted. I voted to eliminate Thrawn. I voted to eliminate BB-8, and I'm hoping they eliminate Enfys, because what they are doing is trying to solve a problem without actually solving the problem.
No.
And if the problem is that, and again, maybe we disagree on this, but I know I've heard it from people that territory wars is getting a little bit stale. And they were just looking for a way to, and I think shake things up isn't a bad terminology to use. I think they used it. It's not a bad thing. but to try and make it a little bit different. If for those that felt that it was stale.
Which
but
is
eliminating characters, not
Yeah,
the way.
the thing is that with
And
this
if you
change,
think the Revan wall was the problem, what happens if the Revan counters that people already have are eliminated?
It wasn't that it was a Revan wall. So like last time they added, Mace into there, which I didn't like. But it was a change. It didn't. The only thing it affected is it made the Revan teams just ridiculous. Oh my god, it really made the Revan teams crazy. That was really the last taste of territory wars that we had. Some of the other ones like Grievous and Cup and stuff. I mean, it was fine, but it was that Mace one that's like a Gear 8 Mace all of a sudden became this monster on top of the monster that is Revan. That but it was a change. But then they took this, I guess, positive feedback, which I call a crock of crap on that about the community, because I know a lot of people pretty much that I talked to were like, this is ridiculously dumb. But some people enjoyed it. Okay, great, fine. But it wasn't bad in the sense that it didn't take anything away. But somehow they took that, got it all screwed up in their heads, and like, oh, well, we did this. Let's just try this. First of all, we're not beta testers. You want to test something out and see if it's a positive change or a negative change, you have a testing area. Go test it out. Get feedback before you do this. If you want to test something, see what the negatives are about it first. Okay, you got positive feedback. Well, did you go look and see what the negative feedback was and compare and contrast and see, did the positive outweigh the negative? I don't know what, information that they're looking at, but I mean, I get it that you wanted to focus on Grand Arena. They put that in that post as well. But Grand Arena is just something totally different. If you want to mix things up, do it in Grand Arena. If you did this in Grand Arena, I wouldn't really care because it's Grand Arena. This is territory wars.
I would care in Grand Arena also.
You might.
I don't want any game. One of the most hated things in the game is territory battle platoons, and that's because you're.
I know. I think it's dumb. Yeah, I think it's dumb anywhere. But if you're gonna go dicking around with stuff, at least it's in Grand Arena.
Let us use our characters. I mean, that.
I know. That's the thing.
Part of the big thing with the territory battles platoons is the fact that they put those marquee characters in there all the time.
I don't really care.
A lot of guilds, they don't have the amount of whales to fill all those platoons.
Okay, so to be fair, as we've done more territory battles, I've realized that the platoons are worthless. You can, if you have the right characters with like mods and stuff, you don't need the bonuses from the platoons. The platoons become completely unnecessary. You just need to make sure you have the characters. So I think the emphasis on territory, like on the platoons and stuff, is really for those that are getting really close to a star and maybe trying to get a little bit over the edge. But the platoons really don't have that much of an impact.
A little bit more on dark side, but not really.
Yeah, it's still not really. I mean, they're really just there for a little bit of bonus and stuff. So you can pretty much, if your guild has the characters in order to beat it, I mean, you can just ignore platoons altogether. But nobody, and I mean, we're slowly starting to do that because, like, especially on dark side, when you put so many Empire in there and then you require Empire and troopers in like one phase, like, what the hell? I have like nothing left. So I think territory battle platoons is one of the most disliked features in the game. And then they basically made it so now it's extending to territory wars. I think they just need to rethink it. If they're willing to do a survey in order for us to vote on which ones to eliminate, I don't know why they don't make it a survey each month to allow us to pick what shakeup and territory war we want. Like, why don't you do that instead? So then you get the feedback rather than coming up with this decision that everyone is hating. Now, to be fair, we haven't played it yet, but I seriously doubt I'm going to like playing without particular teams because I've worked on those teams. Hell, one of the things I'm super happy about is that I got my Kylo Ren unmasked with crazy amounts of health. If he's eliminated, yeah, what do I care? I mean, it's not like I worked on him. Well, of course I did. I put my mods on him. I put effort into my first order team. I don't want my first order team to be eliminated because a bunch of people voted on it. I mean, it's kind of silly the way that they're doing that. So don't eliminate people's collections. Give it a bonus if you worked on particular things. If you don't want things on defense, prevent them from being on defense and force them to go offense. I mean, there's a lot of different options available to you. but the way that they're going is possibly the worst one. And so it's really silly that the way that they're going about this.
I blame you, Finn.
Yeah, well, I did provide positive feedback about the Mace Windu thing.
I don't know. I didn't mind the Mace Windu thing. It was actually kind of hilarious too.
It was different.
But I like the Mace Windu thing. So
yeah, some people liked it. Yeah,
it was. It got to the point where you were just doing stuff to see how hilarious it would be, like, you know, blowing away Bosk with Cup, you know. But I mean, this kind of stuff, like you were saying, Finn, taking people's rosters away for something that was supposed to be, hey, I've got to fill my roster out for so I can compete in TW. Just ain't cool, man. Don't do it.
Well, it's going to be a dumpster fire. I mean, someone could say, hey, try glass, it's delicious. I know from my experience that I do not want to try glass. And so, yeah, I can make that educated decision that, no, I'm going to say no, and I can pretty much sure that it's going to be a bad experience. I mean, we haven't talked about the mod fiasco that this is going to be. You know,
just think about the GP mismatches this is going to create.
Well, the GP, I know, it's going to be like, how does the GP come into this? So it's like, you go in there, it's like, wait a minute, I can't use any of these characters, and I have to face a higher GP guild? I mean, holy God.
I mean, I feel bad for the mid and lower tier GP ranges, because this is going to cripple them.
It really is.
I mean, it's.
But you have to voice your opinion. Make sure you're constructive about it, guys. No, Reddit, you don't have to.
Yeah, no, don't go name calling and cussing stuff. Be courteous in your.
Well, I don't want you to get banned into the forums.
Yeah.
But speak your piece. You know, you got to let them know that this is ridiculous.
And eventually, there's a counter to everything. If you guys don't remember, Treya was the meta team on defense in Territory Wars for the longest time. Even before Revan came out, she had dropped because people had started to find counters. So eventually, we're all going to find our solid counter to Revan, which honestly does seem to be the biggest complaint, which is once you put like Revan, there's some guilds that just aren't equipped to be Revan teams. And so people are having difficulty with it. And they have started to introduce particular counters, right? You have the Maul Nest counter. You have Treya teams if you have a fast Thrawn and you're able to do that. You also have your Fallen Bastila with the Treya teams. It's not a lot of counters, but there are some counters to it. Potentially eliminating those is going to be one of the worst things. Yeah. And you know everyone with Revan is probably going to be voting for the Revan team, right? And it only needs to be one of the top 6. So, and there's some weird teams that I'm sure some people are willing to drop. Like the EP one isn't as popular, I'm sure, as some of the other ones because it's EP, Talia, Greedo, Chewbacca. I mean, I can see people not potentially voting for that. There's also Vader, BB-8, Qui-Gon, and Aura. I can see people not potentially voting for that. There's also Kenobi, Ventress, First Order Officer, and Jango. And because a lot of people don't have Jango, I can see people potentially not voting for that one. I mean, there are some, and I know Sanely loves it, but Yoda, Talzin, Scion, and Range Trooper might be another one because some people may not have all those characters because Scion is harder to get, Talzin's going to be a little bit harder to get, Range Trooper is going to be a little bit harder to get. Most people have Grandmaster Yoda at this point. But you know the character that everyone is going to coalesce around is Revan because those that have Revan want to use Revan. And so I find it hard to believe that Revan will not be one of the 6 that gets chosen. And then if he's one of the 6 that are chosen, all you're doing is eliminating other teams and still not solving the problem of the wall and the staleness that some people are complaining about. So this doesn't solve what the problem is, and in fact goes about it in a way that has very negative optics. We don't know how it'll play out. I mean, there is a challenge aspect of trying to put together teams and all of that, and we faced that in 3v3, and it's interesting to have that kind of challenge together, but to eliminate characters in order to do it instead of allowing for creativity to flow with parameters using your roster rather than elimination of characters, I mean, that's just kind of silly.
Yeah. I just have to say something. Go, Nest, go!
Mm-hmm. So with this new game mode,
I think we've... Oh, sorry.
So with this new game mode, CJ is basically like No, we don't want you to spend money on the OP characters. Don't bother, because we're just going to take them away from you.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't want to go that far either, because Territory Wars is only happening like twice this month, and both of them are like in the same week.
Well, they just had a post come out that there could be some changes to that.
Well, they're going to add more. They have different things that they're going to shake up. And right now, this is only for the next Territory War, which is on the 13th. And then they have another one scheduled. It's set on the 15th. I think it's actually going to be on the 16th based on what we were discussing yesterday. So it's not like it's a huge, it's not going to be a huge amount of impact, right? Assuming that they don't continue this. So hopefully, if people don't like it, they make sure their voices are heard and they don't bring back this as an option for anything in the future to shake up Territory Wars. But it's really just for this one thing. And I would go with the same mentality that we went with the Mace and the Cup and the Grievous and the Dooku. Just because this is happening for the Territory War doesn't mean you need to start working on those characters. Same thing with this. It doesn't mean you need to start working on your Jawas because your Jawas are going to be safe from this kind of elimination. Like, just go with what you're working on. You know what the main focuses are. A lot of people were focusing on Territory Wars before. Now, Territory Wars is probably something that if they continue this kind of stuff, people are not going to be engaged in. And there is a large segment of people that are engaged in this game because of team competitive modes like Territory Wars. And this is on the verge of eliminating that for a lot of people. So you're going to leave people with nothing more than Arena as the main focus. And if you leave your players with just Arena as the main focus of trying to be competitive without always having these changing targets of kind of randomness and stupidity associated with it, you're going to get players stopping because Arena is, despite the time zone change, still a grind to deal with. You have to wait 10 minutes between attacks. You're just playing by yourself. So it's not like you can go, it's not like you're really working with anybody else. And playing a game with a group is the most fun part of a game. Mm-hmm. A lot of people look for multiplayer games. And this, while it's not like a multiplayer, when you're doing Territory Wars with your guild, that's what people enjoy. And you're kind of eliminating that here. So CG needs to tread with caution with what they're doing to shake things up, because this is becoming very single player focused in the game, and you're going to eliminate those that enjoy multiplayer facets of the game.
I blame Finn.
Yeah, you can blame me. I get positive feedback about the Mace Windu.
Damn it, Finn.
I know.
All right, let's get some more questions.
Nathaniel Miller, question. I wish to convey my thanks to RSG, Hellenix, and Grand Ivory Mod Optimizer for their help in getting a Boskless Chewy. With Hellenix's guidance and the Grand Ivory Mod Optimizer to craft my mod loadouts quickly, I went from hopeless to done with 7-star Chewy in under an hour of planning and only 2 tries.
Yay!
Nice.
Yeah. Very nice.
Chewy, question, did anyone vote for TW?
Nope.
Yep.
I did. But I voted for all the ones that are going to cripple teams.
Yep. That's why I intentionally avoided BB-8 and Thrawn.
I mean, this is going to happen regardless of if we like it or not, so
Yeah,
I'm gonna make it excruciating.
Apropos win, question, how much duct tape will we need to repair the damage being done by drunken high decisions from New Year's party in game?
Oh man, you're not gonna need duct tape. You're gonna need a plastic surgeon.
It's unfortunate. The game itself is not really changing again because it's just for like 1 week of Territory Wars. But the problem is destroying the fun that a large segment of the player base. I'm not going to say majority or anything like that. It's a large segment that enjoyed Territory Wars more than other game modes, and this is kind of ruining it for them. So
yeah, infuriating your player base is not how you change a game.
Hellenex, question, did CG just ban speed mods in hard node battles, meaning your modded tunes get no speed adjustments? Answer, no, they did not, but after yesterday's announcement, you'd be excused if you believe they did. Hashtag yesterday's announcement was stupid.
Okay.
yeah.
Matt Bailey, question, how do you guys mod a CLS, Chewie, Han, R2, and 3PO team?
Carefully, very carefully.
With mods.
Han is going to be very high damage, so he's going to be a crit damage set with crit damage triangle, as much offense and stuff that you can get him. He doesn't necessarily need a lot of speed. You can put speed on him, but he doesn't.
Yeah, I went offense. What did I do here?
Yeah. Chewie is also going to be a lot of damage, whatever you can muster. CLS is going to be fast and damage based, so whatever you can get him for that. And then you need to make sure R2 and C-3PO are tanky because you want the guard to fall on CLS. So C-3PO is going to be fast and tanky. R2 fast and tanky with some potency, maybe a potency cross if you can, so you can start hitting that stun. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Your main damage is going to be CLS, Han, and Chewie, and kind of assisting and going and repeating it over and over again. But you need to make sure C-3PO and R2 have more health and protection combined than CLS. That way, CLS gets the guard. So that ends up kind of being the main thing about the modding.
There you go.
Contingent 33, question for my last Grand Arena. My opponent has Traya and I don't have a Revan, and they don't. Should I save the Revan team for offense against Traya defense?
I don't know what your full roster is. There's better counters against Traya on defense, but there's not much that can beat Revan on defense if they do put Traya on defense. So I would put Revan on defense if they don't have a Revan, and then save your Traya so you can fight whatever they need, because there's a lot of counters to Traya teams.
Let them smack their head against the wall that is a Revan team on your defense if they don't have Revan.
John Davies, question, have CG lost the plot with Territory Wars?
I don't know, but it seems like we dropped the soap.
I don't know what this. I don't know what their end game was with Territory Wars. I thought Territory Wars was, as it was, fairly decent. They tried a few things in order to make it a little bit more balanced as you get higher up in GP, right? So they increased the defenses, but they scaled it improperly. So then they kind of scrapped it. I wish they would go back and scale it properly to allow for higher GP guilds to use more of their rosters and actually get that depth. They just tested it with Grand Arena, and I think it worked out well, where if you were below 4 million, then you were only putting 6 on defense, and if you were above 4 million, you were putting 7. I mean, you can use that and essentially scale it for a guild. I mean, you have your benchmark kind of set with that. And so I wish they would kind of go back to something like that, but I thought Territory Wars was pretty much fine the way it was, and they were just going to reskin it with different bonuses and that kind of stuff and make it more fun. This is not what I was expecting. I was expecting stuff to be different on the map, not limitations on the characters. So bonuses in different territories, maybe restrictions from particular characters in particular territories, maybe for the entire war. I mean, they needed to do more with the map and not mess around with our collection. I think that's where they made the mistake. They started to mess with our collection rather than making it a different game map and allowing us to figure out a strategy for that game map. If you prevented bounty hunters in one zone or you prevented Jedi from another zone, I mean, they had other ways to go about it. So I don't know what they plan on doing with Territory Wars. It's turning into ships. Seems like it's a new game. It's turning into another game mode that seems to have no point to it. Like, it used to be about like team competition and fighting other guilds of similar GP of what you've queued up with and trying to see who has the best collection and who can work with their collection the best. Now they're trying to make it a gimmick. Like,
yeah, it began with Modgate, then it was Shipsgate, and now it's TWGate.
I don't know why they needed a gimmick.
I blame Finn.
That's a good call.
Stupid dumb Finn.
Next question.
46 Rogue, question, are troopers still good for Night Sisters? If so, what's the best team composition? If not, who would you recommend? Thanks.
Yes, if no Nest.
Yeah, if they don't have Nest or Wampa, they'll do good.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's a few different combinations, The key ones are Veer, Stark, Snowtrooper, and Death Trooper. And then your fifth can kind of vary. You can use Short Trooper if you don't have Range Trooper. Range Trooper is probably the best one in that fifth.
Yeah, I'm working on Range Trooper right now, farming the hell out of that.
But there's a few different options, but yes, Imperial Troopers can work against Night Sisters as long as they don't have Nestor Wampa.
Captain Obvious question: can I give my guild Dark Lord Rebels a shout out for completing heroic Sith Triumvirate raid for our first time yesterday?
Nice,
Dark Lords! Congratulations!
Congratulations!
Well done,
Congrats.
Matt Bailey question: what are your thoughts on a stockpile of 5 mods for events where you don't want to Gear 12 all your Ewoks?
Maybe repeat the question?
Yeah, that threw me off.
What are your thoughts on a stockpile of 5 mods for events where you don't want to Gear 12 all your Ewoks?
I think he's talking about non-6E mods.
I mean, we recommend doing 5A and not 6E because unless you're a whale, you're not taking most of your roster to Gear 12. Or unless you're like very hyper-focused and just constantly taking one team at a time to 6E. But if you're free-to-play, you reduce your collection impact by doing that because you're going to not have as many viable characters, and characters are definitely viable at Gear 11. So I definitely am in favor of 5A over 6E, unless you have a particular set that you know you're going to leave on a character that is Gear 12, in which case then you can do it. Or if you're going to be focusing more on fleet, in which case 6E does give bonuses to the pilots. I mean, those would really be the main exceptions for a free-to-play. Pay-to-play, play a little bit different. You can take your mods to 6E and whatnot because most of your characters are going to be Gear 12 at that point, and then it's not a big deal.
Doyson, question: if you have Kira, Mission, Vandor, and Zalbar, but no L3, what is the next best thing to replace L3 with? A cleanser or taunt? She does both.
Offense or defense? Because offensively, I can tell you a really fun one that I've been playing around with is Cad Bane. Cad Bane is pretty neat under a Kira lead. But that's offense. Defense is going to suck. The other one is if you want to go defensive, you would probably want another taunt, and you could go with someone like Juhani if you've actually worked on her. I wouldn't work on her otherwise, so then it would just be whatever you can fit in there.
Apropos win, question: why isn't Finn updating the podcast? My data plan is only so big for data streaming YouTube.
I caught up a good bit yesterday. I'm up to the end of not last week, but the week before. I did the Jedi Academy from the 22nd, so I'm 1.5 weeks behind. So I should be catching up soon. I have to download all the audio files and stuff and then upload them. So it's a manual process, so bear with me. I've had work stuff going on.
Yeah, well, Finn is only one person, and you know, even if he wasn't a slacker, he'd still be behind.
That's right.
Stupid Finn!
Star Rocks 923 Lego question: when does Grim get his roster review? Can Dana Descent join the lunch stream for it? Red 5 and I have personal biases for this.
Oh man, my guildies are teaming up against me.
And when are we doing your roster review?
Soon, TM.
Maybe we'll do it for charity. Do you want to do it for charity? We can do it for charity.
We'll talk about that.
Okay. We might be able to sell tickets. It'll be like a grant.
Oh no.
Stamos Buff question: did anyone hear about Grover dropping the F-bomb?
Yeah,
I saw that clip. Some people said that it sounded like he was. I heard it that way, but other people, like my brother, I showed it to him, and he heard it in a different way. It didn't sound like swearing to him.
Mm-hmm.
It's all a matter of perception on that one. There's lots of things that could be like that.
Hold on, I'm gonna go listen to it right now. I'll be right back.
But really, they showed the script and the voice actors and everything for that. He didn't drop the F-bomb. It's just some people heard it differently. It was all over the news.
Chewy question, what do you think will be coming at the end of the month per Crumb's little clue in the calendar? Probably OG Falcon.
Probably.
Doyusen, why doesn't CG just make Territory War 3v3 with 40 teams per section?
Oh, God.
Maybe that's a surprise at the end of the event calendar.
I mean, I wouldn't like that as much, but I could handle it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's 3v3 in Grand Arena. I didn't like it as much, but yeah, it is what it is. Some people might like it. Oh, cool. But not if it's like 3v3 and we're voting for characters off the island.
Tangent Revolution question, what would you think about them implementing something in the preview phase of Territory Wars where each guild select 3 characters to ban? Better idea than this crap.
Yeah, it's same thing. People will find a way to abuse it. Like they will intentionally eliminate Revan counters, stuff like that.
Star Rocks 923 Lego question, Team Money is going on about how great this Territory War change is in Discord. Can you please invite her on stream to discuss this? I want to see legit debates.
She needs to cut back on the maple syrup.
I will be on her stream tonight. So you will get what you asked for, sir, because...
And you will have to be on your bestest behavior, Ranger.
No, I won't.
Yeah, it's Team Money stream. We have to be polite on other people.
I love Team Money. She knows that. But I'm still going to speak my mind.
And do what I want.
I am reading what Team Money is saying as we're going along with this, and I understand and this is kind of going back to what I was saying earlier about the means and the ends type of thing. She was getting bored with the same strategy in Territory Wars kind of showing up over and over again when there's only like a few characters that are really OP on defense, and then you figure out the counters on offense. And for her, it sounds like, and she can go into it herself, but it sounds like she was saying that it was getting kind of stale for her. So she likes it kind of being shaken up. I just don't think elimination of character is the right way to go about it.
Ain't nobody got time for theory craft.
I hate to say it. It comes to another part of what we were discussing about it earlier too, is I hate to say it, Team Money is a member of a very high GP guild. It won't affect her as badly as the lower tiers will,
I'm in a high GP guild, one of the highest, and I could tell you that there's so much anger.
I won't say it won't affect them.
It's not going to hit them as hard as the lower GP.
No, it does, but it affects them differently.
Right.
So at the higher end, what happens is that you're not able to use particular teams that you've utilized, so you now have to make use of crappy teams.
Right.
Right. At the lower levels, you no longer have your best teams, and so it's almost as if you have nothing because you don't even have those crappy teams. So it's hitting them both, but it's hitting them kind of differently. One of them is being forced to use a bunch of kind of crap characters. The other one just doesn't have anything. So I don't want to necessarily determine impact, because impact is going to be kind of based on what the final outcome of Territory Wars is and how each guild kind of adjusts to it. But it is hitting all levels of GP just differently. I don't want to minimize it because they're just higher GP and all of that, because there is an impact on those. And I've actually seen most of the people at the higher ends being the most upset because they've worked on their Revan and stuff, and they're afraid that their Revan's going to get banned. And they don't want that because they spent money on their Revan. And now they're being told, like, oh, you can't use it in Territory Wars. Well, Territory Wars and Grand Arena and Arena are the competitive game modes, and that's where Revan was designed to shine. He isn't power creep just for territory battles. He's power creep for the competitive aspects of the game. And to then ban him, there's a lot of whales that are upset. And I think rightfully so. So it's a different type of impact. And one thing I'll just caution everybody about, please don't make the argument if you're trying to defend it or go against it that it's an even playing field. That is one of the silliest arguments, because first off, you're going to have to make it an even playing field. You're not going to do something just for one side and not the other. So it's already implied. And second, even playing field implies nothing. I said this yesterday. If you're going to have a race with somebody, you would prefer it to be on a track because it's smooth. if everyone has to run in dog crap, it's still going to be an even playing field. It's just no one's going to like running in dog crap. So saying it's an even playing field is not an argument for either side. So please don't use it. I've seen people say, well, at least it's an even playing field. It's like, yes, of course, that it has to be. They're not going to make it so one guild, they're going to flip a coin at the beginning of territory wars, and only one of the guilds is not going to be allowed to use those characters. Like, that would be stupid as hell. When would it not be an even playing field? The question is whether or not it's fun as a game mode in a game to play this way. That is the question, and you can agree or disagree with how they're going about it. Even playing field, really, really bad argument. So please don't use it because it doesn't make sense at all in defense or against the argument. Just don't use it.
But pineapple is better on pizza.
It is.
It is.
You shut your damn cake, all it's delicious and full of vitamins and minerals.
It is. I love Hawaiian pizza.
I do too.
Next question.
I put some hot sauce on that shit. Oh my god, it's so good. I'm sorry.
Dyson, question: will we ever get loath cats and loath wolves and porgs in the game? I want to make a full squad of force pets for territory war, assuming they aren't banned with the new system.
That's when I delete the game.
Nope, they're banned. No loaf cats. It's gone.
David Bond, question: do you believe that the territory war character ban changes were implemented because of the data mine territory buffs that were released last week?
I'd have to say no.
Yeah, I don't get that. I don't think no,
Though it could be the hold my beer scenario. How can we make it worse? Hold my beer.
Oh, grim.
Chewy, question: what do you see happening over the next few months to end the year for CG?
No idea. I'm completely at a loss. 3 shards, that's all I got for Pooper. You sons of...
So the question is, what do we expect to happen with CG in the rest of the quarter?
Yeah.
So we're probably gonna get original trilogy Falcon.
Yeah, I think so.
We're probably gonna get the return of Revan this quarter. We're probably gonna get a new Old Republic character, which I think is gonna end up being a Malik. I think. And then I'm sure, based on the data mines and what needs to happen with the game, instead of introducing a new raid, I think they're going to add the mythic tiers to the raid. And I think that's going to happen sooner than later. So I would say those 4 things are what I would expect in the next quarter. And then maybe...
Last quarter we know it's going to be the new movie.
Yeah. Last quarter is definitely going to be the new movie. So we're going to see a lot of that stuff, and potentially the next journey for for Luke. So we'll be able to see that.
Yeah, probably 3rd quarter.
We may even see the next journey of Rey as well.
Ooh,
right? Because it's all types of movies. We might be able to get both of them. Maybe one in October and another one in January or something like that. So we might get that. Although January would fall. I don't know when their fiscal year ends, but. It may be in the quarter starting January. I'm assuming it starts in July, but I don't know exactly what their fiscal years start and end is. I think Loki knew, but I can't remember. But either at the end of this quarter or the beginning of next quarter, I think we're going to also expect some new capital ships.
I don't know when their fiscal year started, but usually one of the quarters is January until the end of March.
Okay.
Gooey Guacamole. Question: has anyone tried a bounty hunter team with a Zeta Bosk lead and Fallen Bastila? The rest of the team is whatever, but the Zeta Bosk lead with Fallen Bastila combo is beefy.
I have not, so I have no...
No, I have not. Because the only downside is that you're going to slow down your contract. So it may work on offense. I've been placing bounty hunters more on deep... Well, not in Grand Arena. Grand Arena, I like to keep my squads to kind of play with on attack, but in Territory Wars, typically my bounty hunters go on defense. So it wouldn't work for that, but I can see it working on offense to boost up your boss.
And we've linked it.
Next question. Did we lose Stanley?
Oh, sorry, I was muted. A Zingy question: if/when we get level 90/gear 13, do you think the characters will need 6 mods to get gear 13?
No.
I hope not.
No, that will not be part of it. No, I can tell you right now, it will not be a part of it. They'll unlock that last spot for the gear. It'll still be the gear 12 plus pieces, and that's all it'll be.
Gooey Guacamole question: has RSG ever considered doing weekend Twitch streams? Feel like to RSG or Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, Twitch market is super small considering how large the community is.
We do plan on doing stuff with Twitch this year. That's one of the things we plan on doing in our quarter. We are starting to plan out our quarter and that kind of stuff too. So this quarter we're doing
everything.
We're planning on doing some upgrades and stuff to our stream. If you saw our stream yesterday, we finally have a much better video conferencing. We were able to get our cameras and everything on there, and no issues with the stream or anything like that. So we're moving in that direction, and so we're upgrading our graphics and all kinds of things. We have the fundraiser for the American Cancer Society we're still working on, and so we have stuff planned. So
Tangent Revolution question: of course people would have use it. That's part of the strategy. It's why they ban characters in other games. If Rev encounters are banned, you abuse Revan.
Yeah. The problem is there's very few Rev encounters to begin with. Like, if they're not modded properly and stuff, like, you don't have a Rev encounter. It's one of the most frustrating things in Squad Arena. And so that's exactly why I am voting to eliminate the counters, because I think the process in which they're setting up territory wars is ridiculous. So that's exactly why I'm voting against the counters.
And I'm not voting at all. They can lick my ass.
You should vote against the counters, Ranger.
No, I'm not participating.
Vote for chaos. You should vote for chaos.
I don't want to kick yet. Shut up, stupid Finn!
Can we rename Finn Professor Chaos?
Then I'm going to get beat up by my grandma. So. That's grudging.
Apropos win. Question: can our new capital ship be Space Whales? I need to take Thrawn out.
Wow.
That would be awesome.
Just comes by and eats Thrawn.
David Bond question: is banning Grandmaster Yoda more important of a character to remove because it limits both Revan and Bastila Jedi comps?
Not so.
That's exactly why I want him in there. Leave Revan teams unharmed. I'm telling you right now, if you guys are looking for...
Finn, you're not about chaos. You're about pain. You're just about pain,
okay,
brother.
let's be honest. What we need, right, if people don't like this game...
Oh, my God.
Right, if people don't like this game mode, right, when did we get the most, I'm going to say, reaction from the devs on anything in the game? And this goes back, I think, about 1.5 to 2 years now, where all of a sudden they went onto the App Store and to the Android store and started putting huge amounts of negative reviews. And Galaxy of Heroes dropped like 2 stars in a matter of like a week. And they immediately came out and started to make changes. They're like any other company where they will then feel it if it hurts their bottom line. So then the question is, how do you get people to be active? Because there's a lot of people that will just say, yeah, I don't like this game mode and complain and all of that. But if you don't do anything about it, then it's not heard anywhere. You're just making the complaint and it's falling on deaf ears and it's not going to do anything. So how do you make the impact? The way you make the impact is by pissing off players. Just flat out. You have to make it so this game is unbearable. And we're not making it unbearable by us hacking or doing anything like that. They left us an option in order to pick particular teams. If we can pick it so that Revan is in availability for territory wars and all of the counters are no longer in availability,
that's pain.
Do you not think that players are going to be pissed off and then start voicing their opinion? That's what I want. It's not just about chaos. It's about showing how flawed this system is.
Finn is
This
turning into the
voting
Joker.
system-
You wanna see how I got these scars?
The voting system
I'm
is
not
ridiculous.
Crazy.
There's no balance to what they're doing. It's one thing if they're trying to eliminate like one faction or something at a time, right? Eliminating one of these groups eliminates like 2 or 3 or 4 potential teams that people have worked hard towards for Grand Arena and Territory Wars and potentially territory battles for their fights. So the way you do it is by leaving the most difficult team, which seems to be the impetus for all of this, which is the stale Revan walls that people are facing. You leave Revan, and you leave everything associated with Revan. You make sure Jolie is in there. You make sure Grandmaster Yoda is in there.
So my pain statement stands. Finn just wants the world to burn.
Well, yeah. Burn. I want to see it burn.
But then,
and then you eliminate Thrawn,
I do it for
you eliminate
free.
BB-8, and then you see if the devs eliminate Enfys.
I don't want to kill you. You can plate me.
I mean, eventually what's going to happen is that no one's going to be able to beat a Revan team. They're going to be like, oh, look, this is all fun. Everything is changing. Then you front wall Revans, and people don't have counters. Go, yay, I can't do anything in Territory Wars.
10 hours later.
Yes, and Red 5, there are other ways that you can voice your opinion, but I think you would agree the majority of people who have an opinion on something will not voice it in a way that will matter. They'll mention it maybe in like a Discord or chat with their friends or maybe in their guild and stuff, but how do those get to the ears of the devs? That becomes the question. So if you want to get your voice, your opinions out to the devs, you have to make it public. And there's Reddit and there's forums and people are complaining there. Problem is, especially on the forums, more so than Reddit, people are usually always complaining. When Reddit kind of blows up, it's a little bit more important because they don't blow up as much. You see a lot more fun and kind of trolling amongst the serious players on Reddit, just a little bit more. It's not too far off. But really, it's about getting your voice out there and showing. And so how do you get people mobilized in order to actually do something? Well, you make it so that the game is frustrating as hell. And if they like this game, they're going to go and complain in order to continue playing this game with a better atmosphere. So, I mean, that's what I'm promoting. So that's why I voted in order to eliminate Thrawn and BB-8. And then I hope that they eliminate Nest. And then Revan walls just kind of stay there.
Yeah.
I voted none of the above.
Yeah.
Your range trooper, by the way, is in the team with Grandmaster Yoda, so it's all the more reason to vote for Grandmaster Yoda.
Yeah, let's make Stanley sad. See what happens.
No, I don't want to make Stanley sad.
I want to see Stanley angry. I want to see red angry Hulk Stanley.
You wouldn't like me when I'm mad.
Oh, snap.
Shields Ghost. Question, has Finn been working out? The gun show is here.
Oh.
Wasn't that from yesterday?
Yeah, he said the same thing. Got a little bit of a man crush on you, Finn. Keep that working out and get rid of them Twinkies. You might actually get a woman in your life. We're getting you hooked up in Disney World. We're going to find you a nice Star Wars girl that you can marry and have lots of children with.
Apropos win. Question, hey Finn, how'd you get those scars?
It's driving me crazy.
Shields Ghost. Question, who is Pinky since Finn is the brain?
What are we going to do tonight, Brain? Same thing we do every night.
Try to take over the world.
No!
And that was the last question.
Yay, we did it, guys. We worked
There was a
together.
question. He didn't put question in front of it, but there was a question by Matt Bailey.
Oh, okay.
So he said, can't we give these things a chance to succeed before we chastise it? Everyone was fussing about Mace Cup in the last Territory Wars. Let's just see if it sucks before we decide that it sucks. So,
Well, can I answer this one? Listen.
He makes a valid point.
Well, let me offer the counter. If someone's eating glass says, hey, you should try eating glass. I know, just by looking at it, that is something that I know is ridiculous and I don't want to do it. So I can use my critical thinking skills and look at what they are offering to do and just realize that this is not a good idea. Just because someone says, let's try something, does not necessarily mean that it's a good idea. You can propose any idea that you want, but you have, if you just go along with it and say, well, let's see what happens. I know that if someone says, if you eat fire, It'll grow your hair. Okay, well, let's try that because they said it. Let's give it a chance. You don't know if it won't work. I'm thinking, no, I like my esophagus to not be flame retardant, so I'm not going to try that. So there's just different ways of looking at it. I can look at something and make a judgment, right, and give an opinion. Does not mean I'm right. However, I take the facts of what I'm seeing and look at the situation and, you know, situational awareness, and look at what they're offering and go, now. It's like someone wants me to buy a car. We want to it's going to cost $30,000. I don't know. You know, the interest rate's too high, blah, blah, blah. You know, do better. Give me something else. You know, it's looking at all of what the information you have. Now, sometimes you may not have all the information, but just looking at this on face value, I can tell this is a dumpster fire. Why? Because in the past, CG has done other dumpster fires. I can go back. There's a reason why Ranger Rants exists, because CG has shit the bed more than once.
There's also one thing he just wrote is that, but everything is treated like it's glass. Now, so what I'll say to that is that there is a reason why people in the chat will call me CG-finity and Grande CG Grande. Mm-hmm. And it's because there's often times that we don't go with the whole everything is glass mentality. When it came out to the Mace Windu stuff, I was actually saying that's actually pretty neat that they were doing that.
Yeah.
But my only contention was that it needs to be something that's rare, because if they're constantly doing those kind of things, it can definitely throw off the way Territory Wars goes. But I actually did like the Mace Windu, the Cup, the Dooku, and the Grievous stuff that they did. I thought it was pretty neat and added a little bit of flair to Territory Wars. And it did allow us to kind of re-strategize, again, key, with our rosters, to figure out how we should put things on defense and offense. And you saw people putting Mace Windu on Revan teams. And it was pretty neat to see that kind of creativity with these new rules. So I was actually a fan of that. And I've said it before, like I was probably one of the positive feedback people that led to this. So if you want to blame me for this, I completely understand.
Finn!
so that was like one of the things that I did not say that it was bad. The reason I don't like this is because I never like the elimination of things people have worked on. Find rules around utilizing them, but don't eliminate their usage. That is the only rule. I've said it before on this stream several times. Whatever changes you want to do, I am open to it, but never take stuff away from players. That is the worst thing you can do with any game, is taking something away. It's the same thing with raids. If you make a raid too easy and people are getting used to it being easy, then you make it more difficult in order to scale it more appropriately. You have now pissed off the player base because they have gotten accustomed to it being easy. You are always going to be in a better situation where if you make it too hard, players struggle. They say it's difficult. If it's a new game mode, then there's obviously a learning period. You have yourself that cushion, and then you make it easier. You have now given people more ease with the raid rather than giving them more difficulty, which is essentially taking away ease. This is a game. You have to make it so that players are invested and they're having fun while doing so. People have worked on their characters. They have made sure that they modded them correctly. They've come up with different teams in order for their 5-on-5 stuff. I mean, everything that they've done, they've kind of built up their collection. And so eventually, maybe people will get used to this. It may not be the good thing. But what I'm telling you is that I do not think any game mode where you eliminate the usage of a player's collection is a good idea. I'll still give it a shot. I'll be open to it, but preliminarily, I will tell you right now, I feel this is a very, very stupid idea. And if you leave it to the players to allow to vote for particular things, and the end goal appears to be to remove some staleness with Territory Wars, I will vote in order to ruin this game. Because if you leave that option available to players to leave Revan on defense, and then allow to eliminate all of the counters, you have not thought this solution out. You can't leave that option. So as a player, I am going to be looking for chaos to show that this idea is stupid, and that's why I'm doing it. I'm not doing anything outside of my means, right? I'm not hacking the game. I'm not cheating, right? This is all the options that the devs have put in front of me. Why would I not, if I feel like I want to put chaos into this game? because they allowed me to put chaos in the game. Why would I not? And I will emphasize, eliminate Thrawn, eliminate BB-8. Hopefully the devs eliminate Enfys Nest. See what happens with this game. See what happens in Territory Wars when you now face a Revan. They left this option open. And if you think that it's not a good idea and we should vote for Thrawn and we should vote for BB-8 because people need their counters, they need their Jedi training Rey and all of that, then ask the question, why did the devs leave that as an option? Well, they didn't think this all the way through. If they're hoping that people are going to eliminate Revan, then they're working on a whim. Why don't they just eliminate Revan from defense if that's what the problem is? Just say, this war, no Jedi are going to be on defense. You have to restructure all of your defenses, no Jedi on defense. Well, you can do it that way.
Yeah, that's different than saying you can't use them.
Exactly. They have a problem. Their problem, I believe, that they're tackling is that they are trying to make Territory Wars a little bit more strategic, a little bit more different, a little bit less stale. That is the problem that they are tackling. Not everybody believes that's a problem, but that appears to be the problem that they're tackling, and that's why they're trying to shake things up. The question is this the right solution? And this does not appear to be a well thought out solution to the problem. That's my problem. It's not the solution, it's that it's not a well thought out problem that allows for the ruining of a game mode.
I mean, it's no fun to work and bust your ass and spend money on these characters to not then be able to use them in game modes.
Well, yes, so Matt Bailey said it perfectly. Yes, with a cooldown of 0, Tebow and Wicket will counter Revan teams. Exactly. Give a buff to teams. That's what I said yesterday.
Yeah, you could do that. If you want to take like clones or buffs, droids or Ewoks and make them stronger to where they can be viable,
then you re-strategize just like you did in November. I'm okay with adding buffs in order to change the teams. If you want to give buffs in a territory war to particular factions, I am in favor of that. It allows me to strategize with my whole collection how I want to utilize it, and I can work with my guild in order to figure out what I want to put on defense. I don't want restrictions on my collection to play the game. Like if I worked on my CLS, I don't want to not be able to use my CLS.
I mean, God in heaven,
just no restrictions. You don't have to do any kind of restriction. Give buffs if you want to. And again, I'm saying no restrictions in territory war as a whole, like eliminating it from completely. If you want to do offense, if you want to eliminate something from offense or not offense, if you want to eliminate something from defense,
yeah, you can't use it on defense. Okay, good. You know,
I'm okay with saying no Jedi or Empire on defense this territory. So now you guys have to figure out, and then you can save that for offense. Like I think that gives some strategic stuff that people can, like guilds can work together and try and figure out. But to say you can't use a character in its entirety, that's negating part of your collection. That's what I don't like.
And it's not just one specific.
And I know not everybody agrees with that because I'm reading the chat, and I know some people don't want any restrictions, and I completely understand that.
Sure.
And that's part of the reason why some people will call me like CG Finity. Not everything is glass to me.
Well, we're just throwing ideas out there, possibilities. You know, that does not deal with banning characters, and it's not just characters. These are vital characters. No Stark, no Thrawn, no BB-8. It's kind of important pieces for certain teams. You know, and it's especially if you. This is the thing. I just did 3PO, put his Zetas on him. If I can't use 3PO, I'm gonna be pissed. Like I just spent all this time and resources on Zetas, gear, getting him to gear 12, and now I can't use them on a team that I've been busting my ass to use, so I could have a team that I could go in there and clear with that I didn't have previously. Kiss my ass.
And I see what most Mike is saying. He's saying no eliminating offense or defense. That's restriction, right? So this is one of the things, right? So this is why we like doing live streams more than like recorded videos and stuff, because we like interacting with you guys in the chat. I know Stama Osbuff is saying, since when does our lunch stream go 2 hours? It's been going 2 hours for a while.
Where have you been, brother?
The way it works. But and so that's maybe one place where we would disagree, right? I just don't want an elimination of my character from territory wars in its entirety.
Yeah.
I don't think not being able to use a character that I've worked on is the right way to go about it. If I'm banned from using it on defense, but I can use it on offense, that's a strategy for me that I'm okay with. That enables me to still utilize my character, but now I know that that's a character I have to use on offense, and if I would regularly put it on defense, what do I put on defense instead? But if I can't use the character at all, then that's what bothers me more than anything.
Right.
So I think we have common ground on mine, and then yours we kind of disagree, right? I think both of us are against eliminating characters as a whole. I'm fine with eliminating it just from defense. You don't want to have that either, and that's where we can always have as a community a good discussion, right? And that's what we like about the live chat, that we can kind of discuss these things back and forth with you guys. But what they've done is essentially eliminate characters in its entirety.
They threw the baby out with the bathwater and then crap.
It's pretty bad. I don't know why they're going in this direction. It seems like it's a really poor decision. And I know some of you guys are saying you're not going to vote. I'm telling you, you guys should vote for chaos.
No.
Because if you don't want this to happen, you have to show what the problems are with the system, not voting. And this goes with real life too, right? Your vote does matter.
Not unless you're protesting.
Yeah, you could, but it's always better to vote against unless you really dislike.
Well, I think a protest and participation,
if you have the right to vote, you should vote.
Well, you should, but for me, it's always been about like voting as things that really matter. It's just a game, but for me,
I know. But in general, right? With
I think for me, this is a protest.
Want to make the change?
I don't. Yeah, I'm protesting because I don't even want to participate in your ridiculousness.
I'm saying you guys should vote in order to break it.
Listen, Joker.
I'm telling you, vote. Make sure that you don't select the team with BB-8. You don't select the team with Thrawn, right? And then just see what happens when Revan is allowed on defense and all of the counters are not.
Well, I mean, listen. I've been looking at the forums and Reddit and stuff, and I mean, the world's on fire right now. I mean, it is. So CG is getting the message. If they go forward with it, great. I'll do what I can because the guild. I'll do the best I can with what I got. But I'm not going to enjoy this. I'm not going to sit there and try to figure out. Okay, I can't use Ray or BB-8. Okay, can't use the wrong.
I mean, I don't even know. I'll need to see what characters and stuff it is. I've spent a lot of time for our guild because I typically coordinate our like territory war defenses and stuff. And I spend a lot of time putting together a spreadsheet in order to see like what everybody has and trying to figure out what our best teams on defense are so we can optimize and trying to hold things on offense and all of these, right? So now essentially, and my spreadsheet at least is dynamic enough that I can do it, which is eliminate particular characters so they're not included on there, but it's going to destroy like all of my teams. And so I have to figure out now new teams on defense for like 1 or 2 territory wars. And probably what's going to end up happening is I'm going to figure that it's not worth the effort, right? And just let everyone kind of figure out what they want to put on defense with the characters they have left. It's going to be really kind of silly. It's going to be one of the silliest territory wars. And really, we're not going to care because basically they're making it so our collections aren't useful. And then the rewards between 2 and 3 aren't all that different. So people are going to get apathetic to territory wars. That's essentially what this is going to lead to.
Yeah.
Which is sad because territory wars was a game mode that I really liked.
I enjoy territory wars immensely. I really do. I don't think it's stale. I've never found it stale. It's always each zone, especially at the level I'm at. It's competitive, and you really got to look at what are they got. Okay, because teams get mixed in. Okay, the Revan Wall, we were ready for this, but then it's like, okay, who's taking on which teams with what? Okay, you use your Revan for this, and then, oh shit, you failed. Okay, well, now we got to go in there, use this team. I mean, it's a lot involved, and we enjoy it because the chat when we're doing territory wars it's fun to watch. People are talking about counters and mods and all this other stuff. We have channels just for that purpose. Now, some people are not as involved in territory wars, and some people don't like territory wars. I get it. Like there's just everybody has a game that they love, more than the others. So it's cool. But community didn't ask for it. Nobody asked for it. Their reasoning and logic and reasoning that they gave for this is asinine. So CG can spin this however they want, but I feel like they basically was at the Magic 8 Ball. They used that for this decision is what it feels like to me. So I mean, there's no correlation between what they did previously in Territory Wars and then this. You know, we want to shake it up and make things fun. Bull crap. So, all right. There's no more.
Hold on. All Me says, I'm wired in because you all are awesome. I feel the community is really something that has become important to me. My aunt died of cancer 2 weeks ago after 2 years fighting.
Oh, God.
I'll hopefully be running.
Oh, my God. Well, I'm so sorry about your aunt. I lost my father to cancer. We've all lost relatives to cancer. So our condolences to you, my friend. And we're going to keep fighting the good fight for the ACS. So sorry to hear that. But hopefully with us raising this amount of money and doing what we're doing, maybe we'll find a cure for this one day, and then nobody dies from cancer. That's the goal. I think we all have that mentality.
So I had a question brought up by Kane, who was our roster reviewer.
Oh, okay.
And so this question may actually affect a few people because it's kind of common. So his question is, how does somebody that is colorblind figure out mods?
Oh.
So I think this could be pretty interesting to go through because there is a way. Are you able to bring up your mods, Ranger?
Yeah, I can pull up
so
mods.
There are 3 components to mods, right? There is the dots, there is the level, and then there is the rarity. So, and then of course you have the sets and all of that, but you can hopefully be able to differentiate the sets. I think a lot of the stuff that they do in game does go through, oh God, I can't remember what it is, the AHA or whatever, in order to make sure that colorblind people can differentiate between the colors, and it provides a contrast and all of that. So hopefully you can kind of differentiate between.
Well, they've got the letters on there.
But with that, the 3 things you're watching for are the level, the dots, and the rarity. Now, what happens is that when you look at a mod, what you typically look at is the level, right? But you can see the level kind of clearly. Then the dots you should be able to see clearly. Now, here's the issue with the rarity. The rarity will take you 1 extra step, basically, or actually 2 extra steps in order to actually see it. And it's one thing that I hope that they do add to this game, which is that right now it just shows 15, but it doesn't show the letter until you go into the mod screen like Ranger is at, and then you can see what the letter is. The A corresponds to a gold mod, the B corresponds to a purple, a C corresponds to a blue, a D corresponds to a green, and an E corresponds to a gray. And so all of those can show up on the color. Now, if you are colorblind, what you have to do, unfortunately, is go into the character and then look at it by clicking on it, and then you'll see on the right side there where it says like 15A or 15C or 15B, like it'll show that underneath it. And that's how you can differentiate between the colors. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe that the shades of colors that they use, the gold, the blue, the purples, the greens, and the grays, I believe they show different colors of gray if you are colorblind. And so you may be able to differentiate between that. I'm not 100% on that.
No.
Because I know that they usually, these kind of games, especially a big company like EA and stuff, typically does do testing in order to make sure they have some way of differentiating for those that are colorblind what the different mod colors are and all of that. And so if you don't see a differentiation in gray, which is kind of difficult, I mean, I'm sure you're much better at it than kind of the normal person. But if you don't see a difference in gray, then the way to differentiate between the mods is to go into the screen and then look for the letter, and the letter will correspond to the color. Everything else is pretty much going to be the same, and you can differentiate it based on the dots or the level, or again, the letter, but the letter takes an extra step. So for anyone that's colorblind, that's unfortunately how you have to do mods. It may require an extra step, but you can differentiate between all of them.
There you go. Hopefully that helps you.
And for 16E mods, there's going to be 6 dots.
Yeah.
And remember, if anything else fails, buddy, blame Finn.
Hey! Don't be blaming me for colorblindness.
I'm going to blame you for everything, Finn.
Oh, so Kane is saying that the blue and the purple and the gold and the green look exactly the same.
Right, so you have to go by letters, my friend.
Yeah, you have to go by, unfortunately, by the letters, and then obviously you can use like the filters and the sorts in order to try and put things in order.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think what you'll have to do is kind of that extra step of going into the character and then looking for that letter.
Yeah,
but
I'm sure
there are ways to differentiate it between that. I think they need to add that in the. I would say that's maybe a good suggestion. I don't know. I would actually recommend you doing this potentially, Kane, as well. Is if you go onto the EA like the bug fix or like the bugs forum, they actually have a place for suggestions. And what I would suggest is that you ask that they include the letter of the mod somewhere on the mod screen for the characters, where they show all the different loadouts that are on the character to help those that are colorblind. I mean, I figure there is a way for them to kind of add this, and I think it would help people that are, and you're not the first person that has kind of asked these kind of questions. I think it would be a really cool suggestion to add the letter there too, so you don't have to do that extra step. So, I mean, that would definitely be a suggestion I would think could actually help a lot of people. So, yeah, but otherwise there is a way, it just requires a couple extra steps.
Yeah, I agree. So hopefully that helps you out, buddy. All right, that's it for us today. So I will be on the T-Money Operation Metaverse stream tonight, not the missed one. I don't even know if he's streaming tonight, but me and T-Money are going to go at it. Me and my girl T. So we were, I don't know what time, 9:30? Whenever they started. It'll be on tonight, I'm sure it's posted. So I'll be on there talking about that. So check that out. We'll be back here tomorrow for the lunch stream. Make sure you guys stop what you're doing. Hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Helps with the monetization. Helps to spread the word out about YouTube. If you haven't become a Patreon sponsor, please become a Patreon sponsor. We would really appreciate it. We use all the proceeds to make the streams better with better quality gear, equipment, or just overall better service and product for you guys. We're all about the community and investing back in the community. If you haven't joined our Discord, please do. We have our ACS campaign going on, Finn. Any updates on that?
Nothing yet. I mean, we're still working on that. I am mailing out more and more wristbands. So if you guys would like an RSG Stu Strong wristband, please go to the ACS Tiltify page. The link is in the description, and get yourself a wristband, and I will mail those out to you. So,
there you go.
And we have a lot of fun stuff there still with the challenges and potentially getting a Blue Yeti mic from Nukin, and we're planning on doing a lot of stuff here. So head over there and please donate. All the money goes to the American Cancer Society. We're providing a lot of fun stuff as part of it. So please go donate, have fun.
There you go. All right. So on behalf of myself and the RSG crew, thank you guys for stopping in. We love you, and we will holler at you later. Peace out.